Greetings and salutations, everyone! My name is Fire Mage, and welcome back to Rimworld Ascension Take 2, Episode 66. If you enjoy this episode, please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, mod list is down in the description. And with that, let's get on to the episode. Alright, well, picking up where we left off last time, what are my plans for today? Well, obviously, today we will be focusing quite a bit on the Mechanator stuff over here, finishing up the lab upgrades and whatnot, and hopefully also beginning work on the chem fuel refinery. Of course, there's no promises on getting to work on that, seeing as our constructors don't really seem to like to do what I tell them very often. So we are just going to have to hope that they do what I want them to. But we will not be starting any new projects just yet. I really want to get that refinery done, the lab done, and start ripping out all this barbed wire. It is causing quite the issues. You know what? I just had an idea I want to test. Now, if you will recall a few episodes back, we tried to go to space and we unfortunately lost our best miner. However, that was because the rocket ships provided by the large pod launcher are one-way only. So what happens if we use something that is two-way, like the frog here? Now, this is admittedly somewhat sketchy and might not work, but it also might work. So we're going to go ahead and build one. Not going to build it in a garage for obvious reasons. Kind of bad to try to build something that goes up in an enclosed space. So we'll build it right here. And that is going to require quite the large amount of stuff. 9 car exhausts to start us off. And then a handful of other things. An engine block, an alternator, some suspensions. Yikes. But nothing we should not be able to afford right now while we have supplies. And hopefully German will get to work making those components soon enough. And if this works, we can start going to space again. Of course, we're also going to need to make another spacesuit, now that I'm thinking about it. Can't really go to space without a spacesuit. And it looks like our constructors have built our first Mech-Justator. Unfortunately, the power line has yet to be run over, but once it is, we should be able to begin work on some robots. Although we need something called a subcore. In that case, let's not build a second Mech-Justator and instead build a subcore encoder. That should work, I think. If it does work, that'll be quite convenient. And it seems Reaper can get an expertise in shooting. Now that is quite interesting, because they are one of our war caskets. Well, let's see. Sniping would increase the range of their weapons, which would admittedly be quite useful. But I'm thinking reducing the cooldown of their weapons may be ideal. Let's go ahead and double check what this has. Ranged cooldown of 3.5 seconds. What is its aiming time, though, is the real question. So the autocannons don't actually have an aiming time, which means they fire as soon as their ranged cooldown goes down. Seeing as that's their primary weapon, that means we will be getting the reloading skill, so they can shoot their autocannons even faster. Not that they really need to, but faster firing autocannons is quite nice in concept. Hopefully it goes well. And our vitals monitor research has been completed. And when we eventually get around to redoing our hospital, that will be most appreciated. Next up, we will be doing manufacturing. This will be our longest research project yet, individually, at 6,000 points, but upon completion, we will have access to larger workbenches, which work faster. Granted, that does mean we will need to increase the size of all of our buildings that have kitchens, machining tables, and tailoring benches, but that's a problem for the future, because that is going to take a while to research. In the meantime, though, the chem fuel clarifier is almost finished, along with the associated building, and work has almost been completed on the road, up to the final asphalt blueprint. Very nice. I'm not too sure where I want the road to go from here, but I'm sure we'll figure it out once this ruin gets removed. And in other news, it appears the roadkill has been both repaired and refueled. Very nice. Senga, please go board the roadkill and bring it back within the safety of our walls. Don't want to leave that thing out there to be blown up again. Oh dear. That is a faction assault. Two different factions that both hate me are fighting right in front of all my turrets. That is not going to end well for anyone, including us. Well, alright, in that case, let's go ahead and start manning our defenses, because there is no way this is going to end even remotely well. We do not have time to bring our people into the armory, so they're just going to have to deal with whatever weapons they got, unfortunately. Let's see, who is close to the vehicles? We are definitely going to need to get the rocket artillery manned. It's been a while since we've had something actually threaten our base, so this is going to be quite interesting. Oh, yikes. Maybe we will send some of our people to try and equip some better weapons. Because apparently a large chunk of our people really aren't carrying any guns. Alright, there we go. Everything should be set up now. Oh, yep. Immediately engaging in mass combat. Not quite in turret range, so that is going to buy us just a little bit of time. Maybe. Oh, and those guys are already fleeing. Excellent. Not going to stop me from manning my defenses, though. Or manning the rocket artillery. Because I'm kind of feeling like bombardment might be a good idea. Alright, let's go ahead, fire a rocket salvo right here. Oh, yep, and they're immediately rushing my trenches. Just as I anticipated. Where are my war caskets? Rocket artillery is out. Unfortunately, that rocket artillery was aimed at where the army was, not where they are. So we're going to have to re-aim the next salvo. That's not really going to hit anyone important, it doesn't look like. Next salvo is out. And while that is reloading, Chris, hop in the other Scytheman. And prepare another salvo. Right on the horde. Alright, one turret is destroyed. Unfortunate. Effective rocket artillery hits. Firing another salvo. Let's see. Tank, move to right here. Oh, they're beginning their attack on us officially now. not that it is going to do much for them, as we are once again going to have Chris hop in the other rocket artillery truck. The power of rapid swap. And now our tank should be able to engage as well. Aim for the big guy. Feller rows, trenches, please. Alright. Give me control over the main turret again. Target that little group. And they're fleeing. Not fast enough. Shoot that cannon. Ah, you missed. Okay. But it looks like we were successful in taking down a handful of them. And the rest are running away like cowards. Excellent. Well, our rocket artillery hot swapping method worked quite well, if I do say so myself. A lot better than I thought it would. And the tank did get a little taste of some violence. Now, let's look over who all we have unconscious. Gapikonin, or whatever that is definitely surviving. Let's go ahead and do a capture on you. Well, first let's strip and then capture. And what about this Geog? You die in 4 hours and are unwaveringly loyal, so not worth the effort. You die in 4 hours, unwaveringly loyal, and you are also unwaveringly loyal. Shame. Well, that's one prisoner, but it is a large boar skin. So that will be a good natural tank that isn't a war casket. Could be made even tankier if it was a war casket. And what's funny is that happened right as we are finishing up the chem fuel clarifier, which means all those corpses will get turned into fuel as soon as the construction is finished. And before that chem fuel clarifier finishes up, let's go ahead and make a stockpile zone right here for all of the human corpses. Just like so. And, of course, we will also do the same thing for the factory hoppers. And there we go. The chem fuel refinery is done. And we can now begin the process of turning all these lovely corpses into chem fuel. Well, it would seem that our corn supply has been fully depleted. Unfortunately, we are not growing it nearly fast enough, which means we are going to, unfortunately, have to unsuspend the simple grill order. Much to my annoyance, seeing as they are not nearly as good for our colonists as the fine grills, but until we can stockpile a large enough supply of vegetarian food, we're going to have to eat simple grills. And in fact, to plan for that, as soon as this corn harvest is done, we will be switching it over to rice. Just so that we can start getting our stockpile built up. Ooh, and we got a bulk goods trader in orbit. Now, that is something we actually really needed. Feller Rose, please go give them a call. We have a lot of stuff, and we desperately need to clear out our storage a little bit. Alrighty, let's see. What does this trader have to offer, and what are they willing to buy? Well, they do have whatever this Bliss cap is. Doesn't seem like something we should be purchasing. They do have more of the fancy components and normal components. We'll definitely be purchasing those. And, of course, selling off all of our unnecessary leathers. And let's buy more medicine too. Why not? Apparently we got some hexagel at some point. Don't use the stuff, so we'll go ahead and toss it. As well as the 12 random flour we have. Don't need that clogging up our limited storage. Sell off a couple of our uniforms. And I think that's just about everything. I could buy this legendary book, but honestly, I would like to make a little bit of money this time around. So we will take that deal. Very good. A little bit more medicine, a little bit of money, and a lot more components. And there it is. Our frog is finished. Technically speaking, our very first airborne vehicle. Now, we can't exactly use it to potentially go to space just yet, as we do still need to finish up the spacesuit. But once that new spacesuit is built, we should hopefully be able to use this to go to space. Maybe not, but hopefully that is a little bit of mod compatibility. If not, though, no big deal, we just won't be going back to space. Now, in other news, though, as you can see here, our laboratory is almost upgraded. More importantly, though, our mech gestator and the subcore encoder are done. So we're actually going to go ahead. I want to make 5 subcores so that I can make 5 robots. We will make 1 clean sweeper, another constructoid, 1 lifter, and 2 militors. Just so that we can get a little taste of all of them. Could do an agri-hand, but honestly, so long as the long night's a problem, I don't think agri-hands are even going to be worth the effort. We don't have that much grow space, and the grow space we have can be covered by our already existing farmers, so no need to worry about that. Oh, and it seems that our luck is still going strong today, as we just got an exotic goods trader in orbit. Well, let's go ahead and call them up and see if they have a spine for carry. I really hope they do. Or perhaps more advanced components. Can never go wrong with more of those. Alright, let's see. What do they have? Advanced components? Exactly what we asked for, as well as a handful of Glitter World medicine. Definitely gonna snag that. And it doesn't seem like they're actually willing to buy most of what we have, but they do have a bionic spine. We will be taking that. Now here's the unfortunate part. That's more money than we have. So unfortunately, I would say we'd sell our whiskey, but if we sold them all of our whiskey, we would drive them broke in many multitudes. As apparently, if we sold all of our whiskey, we would get 12,726 silver. Whiskey is valuable. Good to know, we should invest more in that. Well, in that case, we might as well do a little bit of splurging. We need a new telescope, as our previous one got smashed at some point. Let's see, what else do they have that would be a fun purchase? Let's grab the Animal Mink. That's a good recreation book. This Guide to Teamwork and Design is Social and Construction. Another good one. And let's go ahead, grab some more plasteel. Can't go wrong with more of that. And I think that's just about everything they have that I want to purchase at all. Very nice. In that case, now we get to do the fun job of figuring out just how much whiskey we can sell them. Well, for maximum profit, 232 whiskey will do. And that gets us a grand total of 3,551 silver. On top of all the other goodies, which is 14 Glitter World medicine, a bionic spine, a bunch of plasteel, some fancy books, advanced components, and a new telescope. All in all, pretty good trade. And all we had to do was sell off most of the whiskey I keep forgetting to use. And now let's go ahead and immediately start preparing to put that spine into carry. And the only person I'm going to even remotely trust to do this is going to be Vera. Because Vera is our expert doctor. And we will be putting on the doctor scrubs and, of course, using Glitter World medicine to make sure that our possibility of success is as high as possible. We have one shot at this because I can't get another spine. Because for some reason the game really did not want me to get a spine. But now that we have one, I must ensure success at all costs. And it is done. And more importantly, it succeeded. Carrie can once again walk, as they have a bionic spine, meaning our Timecaster is finally, after I don't even know how many episodes, back in the fight. Unfortunately, they are no longer the best constructor in the colony because they've been gone for so long. Everyone else is now above level 10. Level 13 is the new lowest. So Carrie's got some catching up to do on that front. But they're mostly supposed to be our Timecaster, so all's well that ends well. And there we go. The lab is now officially re-established properly. And it looks like German just made our first subcore. Lovely. And on top of that, we just found another lump of uranium. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna leave this episode off here. We have made a good bit of progress. The chem fuel refinery is finished, so we can go ahead and check that off the list. And we are turning all those corpses into chem fuel, getting us a sizable stockpile. On top of that, the laboratory has been finished, and our mech gestator is working its magic. We have 1.3 days before our sentient Roomba is created. And since all of our construction projects are done, our constructors are now finally cleaning up the massive amount of barbed wire we had. And once they're done with that, they'll clean up this little area up here and all will be good. Which means next episode, we will be able to begin expanding the hospital. Speaking of the hospital, Carrie has finally rejoined the functioning members of our colony with a bionic spine. Finally. It has been far too long. But with all that said and done, I will see you all in the next episode.